Pilkington, we know, had a great association for a long time with David Hayes and Lindsay Park, but he has gone out on his own as he's always been a bloodstock agent, but setting up a business that's aimed at paying some of the bills a bit more easily for the trainers, where the owners pay 80% up front and can take away some of the hassles that trainers face. But let's hear from Pilko. We caught up with him. It was a fair while ago at the New Zealand sales, but he's already having some success with the scheme. Pilko, of course, you know for a long time as the bloodstock manager for Lindsay Park and the great association with David Hayes and the Hayes family, but you've now left that role, and tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, I have, Carolyn. Had a wonderful time, and it's really been terrific to be involved in so many facets of the industry, and I've come out of it, left the sales field and got into the solutions field.
So the idea is basically to give more information for owners and for trainers to be able to converse with them, but it's all done up front. So just explain the plan that you've set in place.
Yeah, well, the name of the company's Horse Training Packages. I think that's probably self-explanatory, and what I'm doing is I'm wholesaling 12 monthly training packages up front from the trainers, paying them up front. Really want to help them with their cash flows. By doing that, of course, they're giving us a discount, which we're passing on to the owners. So for owners, they're getting a 15% discount on their training fees. They're getting fixed price training fees. You can help budget, can help you with your horse allocations, etc. And I'm really excited by it, how it is, and we've worked very hard in getting all the legal sides of it correct. Make sure everyone's position is well and truly covered. And I must say, in the early stages, I've really been quite overwhelmed by the support, and there's a real strong appetite for it out there amongst the owners, and the trainers are very accepting of the fact that, gee whiz, this is going to be a great thing to help them budget and run a better business too.
The owners, of course, we've heard for a long time about some of the extra costs. You know, you think it's going to cost a certain amount to have a horse trained, and then there are all these incidentals that come up, but you can actually give a fixed price for the year.
Yeah, we can give a fixed price for the year, and I think the great thing about it with particularly like the RDEX system these days that many of the trainers run their billing and procedures from. So our rates are based on historical data. They're not just some guesstimate rolling forward. So it's very accurate assessment of what an indicative bill will be for 12 months of the horse. And so it's fair all round. We really want it to be a win-win for both parties.
So what happens if a horse is out spelling? So you've basically got your training fees for 12 months taking into account some spelling, but say it's injured or it's out for longer than that, what happens?
Well, we've got an exclusion clause in the contract that if a horse requires a spell longer than 4 months, which I think's unusual, but if in fact that happens and it's agreed to by the vet, HTP, the owners, everyone agrees, then we just stop the meter on your package and you'll wait until you can put another horse in on the package, because each package you buy comes with a horse replacement offer as well, because you know sometimes they're not fast enough and sometimes they're retired to stud, etc., or sold. So once that horse finishes, the owner can replace it with another one. You know, you pay for 12 months training fees and that's what you get.
So up front for the trainers, as you said, cash flow is such a huge issue for trainers, isn't it? Because they really aren't earning a hell of a lot of money through training fees, because the horses are so expensive just to feed and look after, full stop, and staff.
They are. You know, they run a really tough business, the trainers. I think most of us as owners have got empathy for them. They go out, we're here at the sale, they make the business happen. So they put a lot of risk out there and they've put their heads on the block. I think it's terrific that we can have them concentrating on the horses, concentrating on not being out there and having to worry about their bass statements and the like. Train the horse, communicate with the owners, and you know, let's just try and make it a bit of an inclusive experience for the owners, because I think sometimes the trainers just get bogged down in all those other capacities within the game that, you know, just be better if they didn't have to do it. And we want to enjoy our horses, I think.
And I guess there is a little bit of a carrot there that the trainers, you're not giving them the full amount up front. You know, they've still got to actually work for it to make sure they do the best job to get the full 100%.
Yes, after stress testing with a lot of significant owners, you know, big and small, all across the country, they came up with the idea that, you know, what you really should do is we pay I think it's 80% up front, and the last 20% after the 9-month mark of the package. We all sit down, we go through the terms of our tripartite agreement, make sure everyone's you know, looked after both the moral and the actual contractual obligations of what we signed on to, and providing everything's great, the rest of the money gets paid out, and hopefully we'll renew a package for another year.
And feedback from trainers? I mean, you've spoken to some pretty high profile trainers.
Yeah, look, all the trainers have been very receptive. Must say it's a busy time of year when I don't want to get in the way of them, of course, new horse acquisitions. They're very busy at the sales. I remember what it's like. You really have got a bit on your plate, but they've been very well received to date. And I think the real pressure is going to come in from their ownership groups too, because aside from being good for them and being good for their owners, I think it's actually going to be a real competitive point in the market too, that, you know, they're offering this service. It's only a very restricted service, it's limited numbers. Let's just see how it all works, and I think it's really got legs for all in the game.
Mark Pilkington there, horsetrainingpackages.com.au, and he's already got one pretty successful horse that is part of that training package, Fast and Rocking, who was placed the other day.